And joining us now with the latest updates on the escape is ILTV reporter Asaf Nissan. Asaf, so we've entered the fourth day of the manhunt. I mean, what efforts are being made or have been made so far?
So what we've seen, Lidar, so far, efforts been made tirelessly. Ever since the escape was known to the public, IDF, the Israel Security Forces, the police themselves, Border Patrol, everyone has been on the manhunt. They've been trying to find them ever since they escaped. Of course, some of them escaped to different locations, but from what we know so far, that there was no luck in tracking them specifically one by one and arresting them. They're still on the run, they're still on the lam, and we're not seeing anything coming down the next few days.
I mean, they essentially don't really know where they are.
Well, they do know some of them because there were locations coming out. For example, there were reports that 2 of them escaped to Jordan, while there are another 2 out of the other 4 remaining. They're hiding in Manhunt Shams. Specifically, one of them is known because it's Zacharias Beatty, was actually hiding in Jenin. And then, of course, the 6th one is the last question unknown, where he is exactly.
So, I mean, these are all reports, though. I mean, they don't necessarily know specifically that they're in these places, but I do understand that they have essentially tried, or there are reports coming out that some of them have already fled the country. I mean, so can you confirm these reports, or is it still all sort of conjecture at this moment?
Again, these rumors, the reports are still unsubstantial because we haven't seen any official visuals or anything coming out yet from those escapees. But those 2 who escaped the country reportedly have escaped to Jordan. They're supposed to be already in the safe hands of their brethren now. So, again, this is too early to know because we are talking about preliminary reports, and this is all in the air. But time will tell.
Now, you mentioned Zacharias Zubeidi, right, the former commander of the Al-Aqsa Brigade. And there are reports that he's hiding in the Jenin camp and is being protected by his family. I mean, how should Israel respond to this if this were the case?
Israel is going to take a big risk going in there. I mean, on the one hand, it's obviously that Israel should go in, especially the fact we're talking about an arch-terrorist who's considered to be one of the main figures of the Second Intifada. But then again, Jenin has always been a hotbed and a very hot battleground for what could happen, be the potential next Intifada. So we still don't know how Israel could go in there quietly, and probably won't, because as we see reports from his family and members of the different factions that are going to protect him there. And a lot of support is coming out in the streets for Zubeidi and for everyone there who's escaped. Of course, the 6 themselves are getting a lot of support in, but Zacharias Zubeidi, since he is a Jenin resident and the family is there, we're probably going to see the most danger, probably a lot of strife and fights in Jenin itself, arresting him.
Potentially a very dangerous situation. Now, I want to also talk about other prisons, because we've heard reports coming out that following the escape, right, there were also uprisings in at least one other prison in the country. I mean, what happened there exactly? Can you tell us?
What happened there, it was Prison Ktsiot, a prison that's located to the south that also is populated with a lot of dangerous prisoners. A lot of them are from the PIJ. And due to the fact that they saw this successful prison break as a rise to attempt and as a way to finally stick it up to the man, as we could say, they took it on themselves to start rioting. And now, as we know, riots always lead to injuries, to property damage, and we've seen that 6 different cells were burned throughout these riots, and more than tens of prisoners were hurt during this attempt. And we also know that after this, up to now, over 300 prisoners in the PIJ were dispersed and were placed in different prisons in order to try to calm and quash these uprisings.
All right, Asaf Nissan, thanks for speaking with us, and I want you to stay right here because we're going to continue coverage of the prisoner escape.